Hello, traders. How are you guys doing? I hope you guys are good. I hope you're having a lovely weekend. Yeah, I guess you saw what happened after CPI last week or this past week. Um, but before we say anything, let me just jump into the fundamentals and see what's going to happen with the news. As you can see, tonight, 9:30 my time, the Fed will be speaking, Mr. Jerome Powell will be speaking. So depending on what he's going to talk about, we might see the market being volatile on Monday. But before I go any further, don't forget to subscribe, like, and share our content or even comment, all right? So jumping on to Monday, this is what you see there. There isn't really much on Monday. We have moderately volatile news on the Chinese one. And there's a holiday in Switzerland, there's a holiday in France and in Germany, and also Canada. So we might see a bit of, a lackluster Monday. We might see a Monday that is not really volatile because most powerhouses are going to be, on holiday. All right. And then jumping on to Tuesday, we don't have much there. The president of the ECB, Mrs. Christine Lagarde, will be speaking at 10 a.m. my time. Depending on which time of the world you are, you will have to use the correct time zone, right? And then on Tuesday at half past 2 my time, we have Canadian CPI, right? I guess by now you would have picked that this day's CPI is very volatile, just like you saw with US CPI, how the market really moved like there was no tomorrow. And then 7 p.m. still on Tuesday, the Bank of England Governor, Mr. Bailey, is going to be speaking. So you might see a lot of volatility there, but just be careful because we're not sure what he's going to be talking about. So you just might as well stay out of the market at around 7 p.m. on Tuesday. And then Wednesday, we have the official cash rate, which is your interest rate. They call it the cash rate in New Zealand, right? And then we have CPI for the UK at 8 a.m. on Wednesday. And then we have FOMC minutes. But these days, FOMC minutes are not as volatile. They don't have much action compared to the FOMC or the Fed rate when it's being released. And then we have a lot of PMIs on Thursday, which is your Europe and so on and so forth, right? Even in the UK, we have PMIs there, manufacturing PMIs, flash services PMI. And then as usual, on Thursday, we have unemployment claims, and then followed by the US PMI. So this is going to be quite an exciting week looking at the fundamental news. And then to close it off on Friday, we're going to have retail sales in the UK. So usually the UK news are not like instant when it comes to the news after they are being released. They usually move after 9 a.m. when the London session kicks off. As you can see, the news are always at 8. Not all the time though, but most of the news are going to be at 8 a.m. And then an hour later, the London market will open. That's when you might have a clear direction of what's going to happen. But with CPI, for sure, we are going to have a lot of impact. That's depending on how the actual pans out. If the actual turns out to be way less than what is forecast or way more, we're going to have like a lot of volatility there. So you might as well wait for the outcome of the news and take advantage of that, right? It's very easy, guys. It's very, very easy. Just go in there, make your money, withdraw, and keep on making that dough. You know what I'm saying? So now we can jump into the fundamentals. I guess after what we saw with the CPI, right? After what we saw with the CPI, you could see that we had quite obviously this is not my account, guys. This is just a demo account for demonstration purposes. I don't trade on this gadget, right? Like most of our students would know that by now. Where do you guys want us to start? I think we should start at with the USDX, which is your US dollar index. I've looked at it. It looks bearish. It looks very bearish. From the last time we spoke, that is where the remember when we spoke last week, the where were we? When we spoke last week, we were up there, right? Last week we were up there, and then the market went all the way down. Obviously, we were here. This was last week. Today is what, the 19th, right? So yeah, we were somewhere there last week, somewhere around there, somewhere around. It was on the 12th, right? The last time we spoke, we were here. Yeah, this is where we were. I remember now. We were here, and then we could see the market couldn't like push up, and then we had this coming into this imbalance, pushed a bit up to that hourly imbalance, and then we went all the way down after the release of the CPI. And as predicted, the CPI was very, very volatile, and most of our students in our VIP groups, they caught the buys and the sells depending on what you would have been trading. But we had a very bearish dollar, so but GBP USD was buying, Euro USD was buying, gold was buying, and the momentum continued right into the week, right? It continued right into the week until Friday, I believe. But as you can see, this is where we are right now. We might, the USDX, we might see this pushing a bit up and then coming back to this hourly imbalance. Even if you look at the weekly, this is what you see. This is what you see. If you look at the weekly has tapped into this imbalance here. We have a bit of a support here or an imbalance. So the next weekly thing is going to print. You can see it's all bearish, right? It's bearish. The weekly is bearish. The weekly is bearish. The daily is bearish. So when the market opens, we might see price coming all the way to tap onto this support here or this imbalance, right? As you can see, on Friday, the market went and tapped into that daily imbalance. After it tapped there, so it has now to come and continue being bearish. But remember, Mr. Powell is speaking tonight, an hour from now, my time. Obviously, depending on what he's going to talk about, we might see, you know how Americans do their thing. When they see that there's some funny things happening in the market, they come back to restore some order. You know what I'm saying? So I believe when the market opens, it's going to be bearish. The US dollar is going to be bearish. And then when you go to your GBP USD, you remember what I told you last week? I don't think a lot of people remember. Where were we last week? I had analyzed that this is gonna this was on the somewhere there. I had analyzed that price was gonna come. It didn't have a lot of power to push up, but because of that diagonal trend line, I was looking at that diagonal trend line. So I was expecting was for price to come here to tap onto this support or hourly imbalance and then gain some momentum to push up. But as you can see, when the market opened on Friday, on Monday last week, what did it do? It managed to push a bit up, came back to this now turned support, right? And then continued rallied all the way up to that high there. This was also the market was also the pound was also assisted by a weak CPI data, which made the dollar to be very weak, and then price went all the way up, came back, and went up to retest, and this is where we are right now. From the dollar, I mean on the GU which is your GBP USD, we expect price to pull back a bit, right? We expect price to this is what I expect price to do from here, because we have a weak dollar. Remember, holding everything constantly, we expect price to come and tap here, then continue going up. Like it will come, tap here, and then continue all the way up, right? And then if you look at Euro USD, same thing, almost pretty much similar. We expect price to do what? To come back to this imbalance, and then it will go up. If you look at the monthly time frame, if you look at the monthly time frame, this is what you see here. We have a bullish, like price had been bearish for the past 4 months, and then because of the weak CPI data, price went all the way up, being bullish. So we expect price to come back. You see, price tapped on that imbalance there, and it even surpassed it on Friday. So we're expecting a bullish week next week. If you go to the weekly, let me just jump onto the weekly and show you. So if you jump onto the weekly, you see it, we are all bearish. We have this imbalance, so you expect price to go. The next candlestick that's gonna print this coming week, which is like 3 hours from now, the market is gonna open. We expect it to print, go all the way up, and tap onto that weekly imbalance. But anything is possible. We might even see price. Retracing a bit on the weekly imbalance, then pushing all the way up. But EU or Euro USD is bullish, right? And then you go to your gold. I told you it was going to be bullish last week. You can go to the recording for last week and check. I think, yeah, you can see it's all bullish. But remember, on the hourly, it would come. We're expecting it to come a bit down and then push all the way up. Push all the way up. If you look at that, it is very close to the daily high, all-time high. You see, it's very close to the daily all-time high. With that said, you have to bear in mind that when price is closer to the daily all-time high, it will just continue rallying all the way up. But you just need to be careful, because we might see a pullback, and then then Monday we might see maybe the market who will just play around, like consolidate a bit, and then push all the way up to finish that rally. Rally as in rallying all the way up. As you jump onto your 4 hourly, you can also see they are all bullish. There isn't really much of a retracement. The retracement is on the H1, because price had been pushing all the way up, so there was a bit of a pullback, right? That's why we're having. So you never know. The market can be crazy sometimes. We might see, when the market opens tomorrow, we might see this bearish pullback on the 1 hour. Then price will play around a bit here, like this is what I'm saying. We might see price pulling back up to this level here, then continue rallying all the way up, maybe on the New York session or the American session, US session, right? In the London session or the European session, we might see a pullback. Then price will continue around the New York session, right? And then if you jump to your JPY pairs, because we have a weak dollar and we also have a weak JPY, we have a weak dollar and a weak JPY, price isn't really clear, as you can see. It's just choppy, looking ugly. I took a lot of buys on gold last week, made lots of money. Took a lot of buys on GBP USD, and even on our what do you call it? On our private groups. I think Ausi shared a lot of beautiful setups. Even for CPI, we caught the move. Princess was all over the place, man. And big up to those people who made lots of money during CPI. We had students making like 20K, 30K, 7,000, 2,000, 700, and so on and so. So it's a good thing, you know. We're really pushing. We're really pushing, and I appreciate all the people who make an effort to trade. You know what I mean? So yeah, let's continue pushing, guys. And then if you go to your indices, UK 100 or the FTSE is still looking a bit. It's looking a bit clumsy. It's not the market structure isn't really nice. But Mondays being Mondays, we all know that indices for Europe, like your UK 100, your German 40, your IBX 40, your Italian 40, your CAC 40 or France 40, when the market opens, they usually push all the way up. Like they usually push. Like the market opens at 9 a.m., they usually, because of the new excitement of the week, they're just going to rally all the way up, tap into that imbalance, and then maybe that's when we might see a bit of a pullback, you know, depending on how price pans out in the Aussie and Asian session. But other than that, we're expecting indices to keep pushing up because of the weak dollar, you know. Expecting, even if you look at the US 30, we saw the US 30 hitting all-time highs in its 139-year history. US 30 has been around for 139 years, guys. 139. In its 139 years history, is the first time the price had gone to all-time highs of over 40,000. So as you can see, we're expecting price to go there and like hit on that imbalance, hourly imbalance. Then we might see price playing around when we wake up in the morning, and then a bit of a retracement. Usually US indices like your US 30 and Nasdaq 100 and SPS 100, they are usually quiet, especially on Mondays and on the European session. They are usually quiet. They don't move that much. They are not volatile as much. As you can see, the SPS 500, we might see price pushing all the way up to there. Then after it taps there, we might see a bit of a consolidation. Then it might come back down, then continue going up, you know, during the course of the week. And then I know a lot of people, we touched on gold, right? So gold is bullish, guys. We're just expecting a pullback. When you see a pullback, don't say, the boss said gold is bullish. Why is it bearish? You always have to look at smaller time frames for those retracements and look for those imbalances where there's a fair value gap and price is just trying to tap on them and then continue going down. Like here, when it's like this, the market will come back, tap here, play out a bit, then continue pushing up. This is what we're expecting the market to do. But other than that, what else? Your crude oil is currently up there. It was a bit ugly during the week to trade. It wasn't clear. Like the market structure was not so clear, but as you can see, it went all the way down here, pushed all the way up. I was expecting that when it reaches this mustard color or that resistance, it would pull back. But as you can see, rallied all the way through it, then came back and tapped on it and continued being choppy, but went all the way up to that previous high, which was last reached on the 10th of around the 10th of May. Other than that, I'm expecting when the market opens, we're expecting price to play out a bit here. Then we might see price coming back to here, right? We might see price coming back to here. Then, you know, and then from here, we don't know what's going to happen. But if price manages to break this, it will push up. I think I've said a lot. So yeah, with that said, all the best, guys. All the best for the new week. Let's keep pushing. Keep on downloading money, guys. And all the best for the new week.